I'm going to construct an angle bisector and explore its property using the geometrist sketchpad. First, I construct the angle. I have constructed angle BAC. I will measure it. It is 32.28 degrees. Next, I draw a circle with center A. I mark the points where the circle intersect the two lines. I next draw an external line. Next, I am going to draw a circle with center E and radius FG. So I select the point E and the line FG. Under the Construct tab, I select Circle and Center with center and radius. Similarly, I want to draw another circle with center D and radius FG. I mark the point where the two circles intersect. I want to draw a ray past A and this point. So in the line tool, I select the ray option. I mark this point, H. Now I measure angle BAH. It is 16.14 degrees. I measure angle CAH. It is also 16.14 degrees. AH is the bisector of angle BAC. It cuts angle BAC into two equal halves. Now I want to select a point along AH, the bisector. And I labeled this point I. I want to draw a perpendicular line from the point I to the line AB. I select the point I and the line AB. Under the Construct tab, I select Perpendicular Line. This displays a very long perpendicular line, but I don't want such a long line. I'm only interested in a perpendicular line from the point I to the line AB. So to do that, I first click anywhere on the white space to deselect this long perpendicular line. Then I click on the Line tool to select the first option, and I draw the line segment that I want from the point I to the line AB. You see that the rest of the perpendicular line becomes dotted line. We want to hide the dotted portion of this perpendicular line because we're not interested in it. But to do that, we have to first deselect the segment of the line that we're interested in keeping. And that is from the point I to the line AB. To deselect this line, click on this translation arrow tool and then anywhere on the white space, and it is deselected. Once we have deselected this segment of the line, we can go ahead and select the dotted segment of the line. And under the Display tab, we hide Perpendicular Line. We now have a perpendicular line from I to AB. And we're going to mark it with a right angle. We are also going to label this point J. Now we can draw another perpendicular line from the point I to the line AC. We select the point I and the line AC under the Construct tab, we select Perpendicular Line. Again, the perpendicular line is very long, and we don't want to do that. We only am interested in this perpendicular segment from point I to the line AC. So we click anywhere on the white space to deselect this long line, and then on the Line tab we select the first option to draw the line segment from the point I to AC. And we see that the rest of the perpendicular line gets converted to a dotted line. Now we proceed to hide the dotted line. Before we can do that, we have to deselect this segment here. So we click on the translation arrow tool and anywhere on the white space to deselect that section, and then we click on the dotted portion and click Display Hide Perpendicular Line, this option. Then we want to verify that this is a right angle, which it is, and then we're gonna label this point. Next, we measure the distance between I and K, and the distance is 0.96 inches. We also want to measure the distance between I and J, and the distance is also 0.96 inches. We conclude that IK is equals to IJ. If I place my mouse over the point I, and then I drag it along the bisector AH, the angle bisector AH, we see that IK is always equals to IJ. Any point on the angle bisector is equidistant from the two sides of the angle. I'm going to write some statement now. In the diagram, if AH is the angle bisector of angle BAC, and IK is perpendicular to AC, and IJ is perpendicular to AB, then IK is equals to IJ because it's an angle bisector. So here's the statement. Before I end this presentation, I have to explain that in the sketchpad there is a simpler way of drawing or constructing an angle bisector. For example, if I have an angle and I want to find the bisector of this angle, all I need to do is to go under Construct tab and select Angle Bisector, and the bisector is drawn automatically, and you can explore this feature. So we actually do not need to go through so many steps to get the angle bisector. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.